This is the Bottom Bins Podcast.
Oh, yes!
Hello and welcome back to the Bottom Bins Podcast and to Premier League coverage for the 2023-2024 season. So we'll have a big game in the title race to cover today. Liverpool and Arsenal played out a really good game of football there at the weekend. Maybe a bit of a surprising result, I'm not sure. I know Arsenal's form really up and down over the Christmas period, but managing to run out 3-1 winners against Liverpool. So I think we'll just get straight into it. Oren, look, Arsenal, they definitely weren't in good form, sort of heading into this game. And even some of the wins that they have had previously, they were really, really scraping through. But I actually thought Arsenal were the much better side against Liverpool. I was quite disappointed with how Liverpool actually set up in the game. I thought it would be a bit more gung-ho, a wee bit more end-to-end. And I know Liverpool were missing players, so of course they're going to be a little bit weaker. But what was your take on it? Did you think Arsenal were the deserved winners on the day?
I thought they played better football, definitely. To be honest, even though the scoreline was 3-1, I didn't think it was a very exciting game of football. I thought three of the goals, I thought Liverpool's goal and the last two of Arsenal's goals were very, very scrappy. But, you have to be there. You have to be in the positions to anticipate it. We always tell our football team to gamble, and Arsenal were gambling. Look, 3-1, Arsenal needed the result. It was, as you say, it wasn't necessarily a good run of form with Arsenal. They were still getting results, but they weren't necessarily playing the best types of football, and it was a crucial result for them to stay in the title race, especially with Manchester City hot on their heels with a game in hand now and all as well. So, they've done their job, and beating Liverpool is a huge statement win, to be honest.
It is. I would agree with you, and I think statement wins probably the best way to put it. Connor, this now puts Arsenal within 2 points of Liverpool, and this was a team that a lot of pundits, a lot of journalists, and even ourselves to a certain extent had sort of said, look, these guys aren't going to go on to win a league title. And a game like this and a result like this, sort of, it shifts the mood and shifts the momentum again. And now people are very much back on like the Arsenal train and thinking that Arsenal can go on to win the title. Does a result like that kind of cement that, yes, okay, maybe things haven't been going as well for Arsenal, but coming out and beating the league leaders, it's a massive statement, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a big win. I thought Liverpool were very disappointing though. I thought they were really poor. They only had one shot on target. Their only real chance they had in the match was the goal they scored, and it was a fluke. But Arsenal won the game. The game changed with Van Dijk's mistake. I seen Roy Keane was like that defended like a pub team, which they did. The two goals, Liverpool will be kicking themselves as well because the three goals they conceded were all very, very poor. But yeah, it's a big win for Arsenal. A deserved win. I agree with Owen a bit. It wasn't a great game. As you guys said, like Liverpool didn't really go for it, which was a weird one. Arsenal kind of just sat back as well and just took their chances. But a big win for Arsenal keeps them in the title race. For me, I don't think Man City will be caught. I don't think Arsenal have the ability to go to the Etihad and win. It wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal go and get beat next week to West Ham. They're that kind of team. There was a lot of over celebration, stuff being said and things like that there. But it's a good win, but I wouldn't be getting too carried away if I was an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from, Connor. For myself personally, I thought, I really did think it was a good response from Arsenal, to be honest. Like, I thought after, maybe not I'm not going to call it a crisis, but definitely the way they were being portrayed in the media and how people were sort of really going against them. Even though, they maybe do have a bit of a track record to show that they can go on a big run in the Premier League. I was kind of sitting there a wee bit thinking, is it a wee bit disrespectful from the likes of pundits to completely write them off? And I did, to be honest, I did. because I do think that Arsenal side is more than talented enough to go and put on a big run and pick up a lot of points between now and the end of the season. Now, does that mean that they're going to pick up enough points to go and win the title? I'm not entirely sure, and I know experience, which is something we talk about quite a lot when we talk about Arsenal. I know experience counts for a lot, and they don't have that title winning experience yet. But I do just feel like, a result like this, it's the type of result that could turn their season around. I think it really, really could. And I agree with you, Connor. Yes, I do think that it was a bit of over celebration, but I seen it more as like relief from the players. Like, oh, finally, like we've got back into it. We're back in the hunt again. Oren, just moving on from Arsenal to touch on Liverpool in this game. They were missing Connor Bradley, Mo Salah, and there's somebody else. Oh, Szoboszlai was missing as well. But I know Szoboszlai hasn't been in great form. Nunez was only fit to start on the bench in this game as well. Is that a legitimate thing that Liverpool can put this performance down to? That they were missing these key players, or do you think maybe tactically they just got it wrong on the day?
Well, I wouldn't. I definitely don't think they can use missing players as an excuse. They've been without Salah for a long while. It's not just his injury. They've been without him for the AFCON, and they've got to the top of the table and stayed there. I think I wouldn't necessarily say it was tactically a bad game for Liverpool as well. It was just mistakes. As Connor said, it was pub team defending. It was schoolboy defending, and they got caught out. Alisson didn't have his best game. Van Dijk definitely didn't have his best game. And especially, I know Conor Bradley's come into the team and he's done very, very well. But Trent Alexander-Arnold's been one of the best right backs in the league for years. He's more than capable of coming back into that side and producing a quality moment. Whether it's going to be attacking ways, he's not the best defender. We all know that. But I just think it was a bad day at the office. I don't think they tactically got it wrong. I just think whatever could have went wrong in terms of mistakes did go wrong. And I think after Martinelli's goal especially, I think the heads just kind of went. And they just kind of thought, yeah, this isn't our day. But as Connor said, like with Arsenal, they're more than viable to go and beat Liverpool and then get beat by West Ham. It's the type they are, and it's up to them to keep that run going. But it's also up to Liverpool and up to Jurgen Klopp to revitalise that Liverpool team and get going again for next week if they want to stay in a title race.
Yeah. No, look, I completely see what you're saying, Oren. Connor, again, just while we stay with Liverpool, they, it is strange because all of us did say in our sort of mid-season review that none of us really expected Liverpool to be as high up as what they were. But when you've seen some of their performances this season, and we've consistently said, Jurgen Klopp is absolutely getting the best out of this current crop of players that he has. We had two really uncharacteristic mistakes from two of the best defenders in world football. Van Dijk, I don't think there's any other way you can say it other than it was sloppy defending. And Saliba, again, from somebody who has risen to the ranks of one of the top centre backs in the world in such a short space of time. I think we do tend to forget that he is only like 22, 23 years of age. He probably does still have the odd clanger within his game, and for it to happen on the big stage against Liverpool it wasn't great for him personally, I wouldn't imagine. But when you look at those two players, Connor, and look, I know it's a wee bit hard to compare it now that the two of them did have relatively poor performances. Do you see that as like maybe a passing of the torch in a sense in a game like this? You've got Van Dijk, who's maybe coming towards the end of his Premier League career. He's already said he mightn't be staying next season. Then you look at the likes of Saliba, who has risen to arguably the best centre back in world football in such a short space of time. Could you see that passing of the torch being inevitable now at this stage between those two defenders?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, Saliba I think has been the best centre back in the Premier League this season. I think Van Dijk actually hasn't been that bad. He just obviously had a really bad game. Just a bit lackadaisical for the goal. Obviously, Alisson should take a bit of blame there too because he just whiffs the ball. I thought Alisson was was poor enough as well, which is unlike him too because he is one of the best keepers in the world. But yeah, I can see Saliba is definitely, obviously he made the mistake, but I think he's the best centre back in the Premier League, and as a top player for for the future. Arsenal have really got a talented player there, but for Liverpool, obviously Van Dijk's had the bad game. I wouldn't be panicking too much. It's only their second defeat of the season. They were missing a few players. I know, Trent came back, but he's only starting to get his fitness back because he was out there for a month. And Martinelli seems to just have something over him as well. I've seen it's like his fifth goal against Liverpool, but Bradley's a miss there. Bradley played really well midweek. And then obviously off the bench, there like Nunes. I've seen actually a stat about Nunes that they haven't when he starts, they haven't lost a game all year. But just because he's just such a baller. But yeah, for Saliba, best centre back in the Premier League. I think Van Dijk is aging now. I think he might move on in the summer. I think we spoke about this. He only has 12 months left in his contract in the summer, and they might try and get a bit of money for him. But I still think Van Dijk is a top centre back, but it's just coming towards the end.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I do agree with you, Connor. I think, look, by no means am I trying to say that Van Dijk's finished or anything like that. It's just when you watch a game like that, you are almost watching, one of the best centre backs to ever do it in the Premier League kind of pass that mantle on to Saliba, and you're looking at Saliba and you're like, no, this is the next guy at centre back in the Premier League, because he has just all the attributes to be a top centre back. Pace, he's strong, he's physical, he's very comfortable on the ball. His anticipation when defending is second to none. Really, he's just a fantastic player. Oren, looking at it from a Liverpool perspective here, I felt like in a game such as this, especially with the way Arsenal were kind of choppy in form, this was a game that Liverpool, I certainly didn't expect them to lose in the game. I thought, if they snuck away with a 1-1 draw, it's not the end of the world, not the worst result for them. But, they did end up losing all 3 points in a game like this. Does it derail their season in any way? And by derail their season, I don't mean, completely make them capitulate, but is it a result that maybe means more than what people think it does?
Well, for Liverpool,
yeah, for Liverpool,
not necessarily. I think at the end of the day, as Connor said, that they've only lost 2 games all season. There's 3 points at the end of the day. It's very hard to go to the Emirates and get a result. We've seen that last year. Arsenal's home form was very, very good. Even getting some late results. And we've seen it this season as well, when they beat us. But no, I just think it's 3 points lost. I think that's all it is. I think, Jurgen Klopp has the know-how, the team has the know-how by this stage and all as well to bounce back at the weekend and win. Do you know what I mean? And get 3 points back. And it's not like Arsenal's not going to lose another 3 points before the end of the season because they 100% are. As we keep mentioning, Manchester City's the only ones that you could genuinely see going unbeaten the rest of the season. But no, I don't think it'll get into their heads too much. I think it was a choppy game. They'll get it out of their heads in training this week, make up for their mistakes and work on them, and then go back out and perform again at the weekend. I don't think it's going to have any effect whatsoever on their mentality or anything. And I definitely don't think it'll hinder their season too much, to be honest. I think Liverpool will be back to winning ways in the next week or two.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair enough. And Connor, just to finish it off then, again, just we'll switch back to Arsenal here. We've heard a lot in recent weeks, particularly even from us here on the podcast, where we've kind of been critiquing Mikel Arteta a little bit. But, that this, for him in his last game against Jurgen Klopp in the Premier League, this, to me, this feels like a big kind of statement from him where he can kind of turn around and go, look, Klopp came to the Emirates, thought he might have been able to get a result and didn't manage to, and I took all 3 from him. Is this, something that maybe he can build the rest of his season on, where he's kind of looking at it going, no, do you know what? I do match up with the best managers in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen they're unbeaten in their last 4 games against Liverpool. He kind of has something over Klopp. Obviously, they beat Man City as well earlier in the year. Beat Pep Guardiola, who's arguably the best manager in the world. I can definitely see that, and he just has to use the momentum. Last year they lost to City. I think they drew with Liverpool towards the end of the year. So, as Warren said as well, like Arsenal are really good at home. Nobody is going to question that. But it's away from home. They have to go to the Etihad. They have to go to West Ham. These are the games I would worry about if I was an Arsenal fan. But he can definitely use the momentum. I thought, men's player Ashley Jorginho played really well yesterday, man of the match. I seen Arteta was speaking about him, a player that's been in and out this season. I think he's been injured a bit. Could be a big player for them. Man of the match, and Arteta said he makes players around him better. And I thought Declan Rice was really good as well. And if Martinelli and Saka can keep, the form up that they've kept in the last few weeks, they definitely can challenge. But I just think City have too much experience, and like for Liverpool there as well. I think Liverpool at Anfield are nearly unbeatable. They've 3 or 4 good games coming up, and and then they play City at Anfield. So if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't be worrying. But I think Arteta, I did give him a bit of abuse last week. I think he is a good manager, but it's them. It seems to be them lower team games away from home, and that they count as big as this. As Owen said, it's 3 points. Obviously it's good to beat a rival for challenging for the league, but it's only 3 points.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I actually do agree with you. To be honest, Connor, it's never the big games that Arsenal seem to struggle in. It is always those like Nottingham Forest. They always seem to struggle against Forest for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter who's in charge. They do just struggle. But that's going to do it for this episode, folks. As always, you can give us a wee follow on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. It's at bottombinspod. We're also on Facebook. It's the Bottom Bins Podcast. And look, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button, and if you're listening on Spotify, please hit the follow button. That would mean the world to us, to be honest. We're trying to push up to 100 subscribers here on YouTube, and if we could do that by the end of February, that would be absolutely fantastic, to be honest, guys. So if this is your first time giving us a listen, hit that subscribe button. It is free after all. And as always, thank you for listening. Keep it bottom bins.
Keep it bottom bins.
Bottom bins.